Hey, what's up? Let's do a little NBA Hardwood. We got an interesting team today. We got Titletown and Mangone and myself, Holden. I'll be running the Up the Lock show as well. And Mangone, we got our big boys. What is it? Hoop, BigT, and JSU at a live final. Is that it this weekend? So they got the live final and then the big party at Big T's house next week.
Yeah, first of all, Holden, let's start with this. You said interesting team. That typically means like you don't like think it's the best team, like you don't know how to say it, like you're just trying to be nice without saying it's weird. So yep, great way to start off the show and the mojo, Holden. So nice job there. Second, yes.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Let me just be honest. What a horseshit crew besides for me and Title.
There we go. At least you're being honest.
I don't think the three of us have ever done a show together. That's why I'm saying that. I'm not trying.
We have the cash shows. We've done them when Title.
Yeah, football. You're right. Okay, well, don't get Title knows I don't remember shit. So, anyways, besides for that, what else were you gonna say, Mango?
Yeah, I was gonna say live finals today. We got K Phallic, I think, is going to be there as well. We got Big T. We got JSU. Hoop, I think, is doing it from the house, but he will be making it to the trip next week. So we'll be seeing him there. And I do want to mention there's a member in the chat, Holden. We have a little giveaway going on. You know how this happens randomly in the Discord? What? Yeah, we have a giveaway going on in the Discord chat. You have till 5:15 Eastern. So you got about 30 minutes. This is what you got to do. So we did this the other day. For some reason, the chat decided to plan my wedding one day, right? Like, what would my wedding look like with a bunch of DFS jokes involved? It was fun. It was a good time. So I came up with the idea today. JP is giving away 2 tickets and like the $66 around, I think, that prize pool. And you got to plan what K Phallic's Bar Mitzvah would be, right? Like if he had one, what would it be? Yeah. And it's just, that's what it is. It's
First of all, it'd be a bar because he's a boy. Second, what are we doing here, man? Maybe this shit flies with other people.
Well, we get a chance to talk about charts. We get a chance to spam K Phallic, which I know he loves. He loves the attention. So we figured that's what we do on this Friday to get the good mojo going. K Phallic said that he is trying to coach up the boys. We got to just really build up Phallic's ego, because if we build up Phallic's ego, what happens is that builds up Big T. It builds up JSU, and it brings all the momentum into the live final.
Title, I went with Mangone because he owns part of the company. I do regret it. I should have come to you first, my friend. Hello, good to see you. A lot going on in the sports world, by the way. We're going to get to this NBA slate, but Deshaun Watson now, he's not going to prison. Good for him. We got Joe Buck and Aikman moving to Monday Night Football. That's huge. Baseball is coming back. Man, there is a ton of sports news going on today. We are obviously going to hit the NBA, but March Madness is here. We're going to be doing shows for March Madness, me, Big T, and Stevie Boynton every morning, starting next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Talk to me, Title. What's going on in your world?
I'm just glad Mangone called you out right away, because interesting crew stuck out right here. So you went to the right person, and he did what he should do. Mangone, you were listening. You called him out. That's what I like to see. So, hey, I like that. Good start to the show there. Put Holden in his place. But, yeah, a lot of sports. I mean, DC, Keg, and I did an MMA show about an hour and a half ago. Maybe it was 2 hours ago by now, but MMA show. Golf's suspended right now, but they'll finish maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday. Millie Maker there. The three boys, Hoop, JSU, Big T. Good luck to them tonight. Big prize pools. Fun slate, too. We got 10 games, 9 games on Yahoo. Excited to dive in, talk about whatever NFL stuff you want to talk about. I'm not on a show with you too much, Holden, so it's always a fun and I'll say interesting time with you.
Yeah, it'll be fun and interesting. All right, so let me go back to this, Mangone. You did your whole K Phallic's whatever Bar Mitzvah. Are we giving something away with that, or are we just trying to have fun with it, or what?
Yeah, thanks for listening. There's like 2 tickets being given away in the chat, a $66. I think they're both $66 tickets.
You hear that? Thanks for listening, he said to you, Holden.
Call him out, he's on fire. He's not happy about that. He's got to prove his skills.
Yeah, I'm not happy with you either. You've been talking a lot of trash about me on other shows, like just going at me. Like, bet Rubio dimes right here, right now. Pull that wallet out. Let's see it.
Hold on, what was that Rubio for your game with Rubio?
Yeah, you're talking about backing Rubio. I heard it on last week's show.
I know, and then you texted Tony, and Tony's like, man, what is Mango doing? Me texting me about you. He's going, what are you doing? So what did I say? That Rubio was going to kick your ass?
Yeah, you said Rubio's going to beat me. So
how is that wallet? how's your conditioning? You're obviously going to have a bump because you're at altitude going down there, but how is your conditioning, man, going?
Hold it. I mean, you'll just have to find out with your wallet. We'll have to see how it goes. I mean,
there's no way I'm going into this blind.
You're going in
Title and Tony I've seen play before. Okay.
I went in blind with I got Rubio 2-1 against Mangone. I got some.
You got him
Rubio
2-1?
well,
I gave Mangone 2-1.
I heard there's 3-1 out there.
Yeah, well, I get a better lot. Who just threw that number out there? 2-1 is what I got it down
2-1.
Title's like grinds for it too hard.
It took me a good 2.5 seconds to grind.
No, it didn't. It's been a couple of months of trying to grind that out.
You thought
I've done it on shows with you. No, you've been. I tried it on
literally our last show. It took me 2 seconds. Ask anybody.
Yes,
in the
because
chat,
I've tried it on
they'll
other
tell you.
shows and you haven't bit. That's definitely a fact. Yes, we can bet that, and I can pull up the tape if you like. That doesn't end well for people when it comes to receipts. Title.
2.5 seconds it took.
You that would not end well for you if you'd like to put a wager on
two
that.
2.5
right
seconds, 2-1. Rubio's gonna ship it for me. Rubio, do it again for me.
We'll see.
Hold on a second. You're taking Rubio?
Yeah, he's
Cashed for me last time. I mean,
I just Title doesn't lose very often, Mangone. This is not a good sign for you.
Again, hold it. Pull your wallet out then. Do what you want to do.
I'm telling you right now, it's not a good sign for you that Title's against you.
That's
you need
fine.
Title on your side to win, so you better start working on that. Now, are we
I don't want him on my side. I want him on the other side.
Are we giving out these tickets on this show, or are you just giving it in the live chat?
It's in the live chat. So
Okay.
Discord
So it's
chat.
not- Okay.
Well, maybe we'll bring up like the funny ones and mention the names. But yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see how good they are. You know, sometimes you get some real good hits, but yeah, we'll see.
Is the Deshaun Watson news good for Holden? Might be. I'm not sure, buddy. I'm not sure. Deshaun Watson's loaded. So I'm pretty sure.
Talk about Russell Wilson quick, Holden. Denver guy, covered a lot. I mean, what
We're
you're
pumped.
Denver. Yeah.
They might win a Super Bowl now. They're not going to miss it.
That's where you went to. Russell Wilson, Super Bowl contenders, you think, right away?
Yeah, I mean, they'll be in the mix. I don't think they win it, but they might be. They have the third best record in the division, Mangone. You're out here with me, man. They've been going bananas. We got the MVP in the NBA. We've got the best hockey team in the land. There's the Rockies. And then Russell Wilson. It's a good time to be in Denver, Mangone.
Yeah, that's why when I bought a new hat, I bought a Denver hat, Holden. It's a
What is
Rockies hat. It's got like the mountain, the baseball looks good. It's fresh. I didn't want to buy a bandwagon hat, right? So the Rockies, they're kind of terrible. And also DFS wise, right? I mean, we love playing cores. We got Title here. So it's like, it's kind of a DFS related hat, and it's got the Denver vibes. So I wanted to get a Denver hat specifically. So
yeah, you can get Nolan Arenado gear at like 25% of the original cost if you really want to get crazy with it.
Just go to Goodwill. I imagine Goodwill's got plenty of Arenado jerseys around, don't you think?
You can buy new stuff though for like nothing. It's amazing.
I mean, if I really want to act like I'm a true Rockies fan, but I'm still a Mets fan, but I just wanted to get a nice Colorado hat, you know, and I like that one a lot. So
you feel like you're in here. You sound like you're from Colorado.
Yeah, I feel like I'm here now. Yeah, it feels like we made it.
What Title?
How you sound like you're from Colorado. I don't necessarily know what that means. But.
I definitely don't sound like it. People definitely make fun of some of the stuff I say where they're like, what is that? Like, where is that from? Accent.
You know, Mangone lives close. We went to a lunch together. Mangone and I are going to go to a baseball game at Coors Field together this summer. It's happening, Mangone. I don't know. DC's coming. I don't know if it's going to be with ladies, but we're definitely going to a Rockies game this summer. And let's get into this slate. So I asked, we got a 10-game slate, and I asked Title. I said, Title, let's get your list. Who are the players that you're looking at right now? And then I didn't bother writing them down. It was Jayshawn Tate, Christian Wood are unlikely to play. Brunson's out. Malik Monk is probable. And let's face it, here's the big ones, right? Title, you're looking at LeBron. You're looking at Butler. We want to know if Ant Edwards is playing today. There's some big names. What kind of news are you waiting on during the show?
Yeah, so LeBron, that's the big thing. He's questionable. He's almost always questionable now. They play all the way at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. The second latest game's at 9 p.m. Eastern. So hour and a half. I assume we're not going to get this LeBron news. You just have to expect he plays every single game. Yeah, 2 games ago, we saw him get ruled out. Thankfully, it was 8 p.m. Eastern game. Got the news in time to adjust. But he came back. He played 45 minutes. They need to win. They're favored by 4. LeBron's questionable, but we're going to approach it how we always do, at least myself. Assume you guys will be on the same page that he is going to play. Outside of that, Anthony Edwards, Jared Vanderbilt, some news for Minnesota. They play right away at 6 p.m. or at 7 p.m. Eastern, though, by themselves. So we're going to get the Anthony Edwards and Vanderbilt news, whether it's on this show, whether it's on the Up to Lock show. But so right there, 3 pieces of news, already going to have a plan with it. LeBron play, those 2 will get. Jimmy Butler's the other big one. He's questionable. They play at, they play at 8 p.m. Eastern. So 1 hour after lock. Besides the first game, the only 1 game locks right away. So that Butler news will be interesting. I'm assuming and expecting to get that news before a lot of the stuff, or before a lot of the games lock. That's pretty much all I'm really waiting on, though. We know we're going to get the Minnesota news. LeBron, we expect him to play. Jimmy Butler's the big one. And then Dennis Schroeder too, because Christian Wood doubtful, Jayshawn Tate doubtful. If he's out too, KPJ, Jalen Green, stuff like that. So just a little news on the slate, but hey, it's NBA. We know anything can come up at any single time.
Okay, Mango, let's talk to you, man. What news are you waiting for? Give me a broad brush on today's slate, 10 games.
Yeah, so this slate, so for the live final, I know they're going to have the whole like 7:30, and then 8 o'clock, and then their slate locks. They don't actually have to worry about the late game. I'm kind of like playing that similarly because I'm not really looking to play too much of that late game, that Lakers and Wizards game. I do think, yes, you could play like a LeBron, but like, let's say LeBron like randomly does sit, which like he could. I think it's more than likely he plays, but like, then you kind of run into some trouble with trying to like fill out your roster spots because you don't have an easy pivot because there's 1 game there. So I think a lot of the games condense at 8 o'clock. Some of the early games, like the Timberwolves Magic, like I'm not itching to play guys in that game. Clippers, Hawks, there's some okay plays. Like you could always talk me into like a Trae Young as an option. You could talk me into maybe like one of these Celtics as a guy that could be like a good stud. But like a lot of the core building blocks on this slate are all in that 8 o'clock time slot. The Rockets and Pelicans are probably the 2 biggest talking points on the slate. Also some of the Jazz stuff that we Kay Fallick and I were talking about in the Discord a little bit, where that's at 8:30. So the slate, you can make an argument. Like, let's say that you're having a little bit of a crazy, lock time coming up at 7 o'clock. Like you could easily backload this thing to 8 and you're not putting yourself in a bad position at all. So that's definitely something I'm thinking about and something to consider, especially if news like flows in that's just like random that you don't expect at the 8 o'clock slot. That might be worth it rather than locking in the guys early.
Hold on. One thing quick. You asked me about like the questionable players, what we're waiting on. The big news on the slate that we already got though is the Pelicans team. Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum, 2 of the best players on the team, the 2 best, are both out. So Joe Val, Herbert Jones, Jackson Hayes, we'll get it all into it. But that's the big stuff. Anytime 2 of the best players on a team are out, Pelicans are who we're going to be looking at mainly.
Yeah, and we haven't got to that game, but starting lineups could be different in that game where I kind of want to have that flexibility. Like we'll get to it when we talk about it, but there's a lot to that I want to discuss with that one for sure.
Okay, cool. Let's get into it, Mangone. I'll start with you in the first game, Minnesota, Orlando. In Orlando, 234.5 is the total. And the Magic here going tonight. Let's see here. What do you like in this game? Anything right off the top? And it's the only one, like title said, it's the only one that locks right at lock. 30 minutes afterward, we get a couple of more games.
Yeah, I mean, if an Ant Edwards doesn't play, which he played last game, I mean, there's a chance he doesn't play again here, but news is going to be important. Like D'Lo would be in play, so would Karl Anthony Towns. We also have the ability today with a lot of value to make those spend up options where like you kind of feel comfortable building out your teams. Like if you only locked into a D'Angelo Russell and an Ant Edwards was out, you're perfectly fine with being able to build your teams and not feel like you're constrained with like your builds based on the way the slate is structured with the 8 o'clock games and all the values that you have. So you could definitely take shots on a couple Timberwolves. I don't really want to play many Magic here. I get it. They're like, does Mo Bamba have upside at 5'3"? Yes, he has upside, but just does not feel like the right slate for me to do it. This is a 233 total, so you can take a shot on it. It's nice that the Timberwolves, they're 7.5 point favorites, but they're at least on the road, right? Where like you can feel like Orlando can keep this game a little bit closer. So that's something to think about for sure. But the injury news is going to be very important. Title talked about it before. I'll just bring it up again. Taurean Prince, questionable. Ant Edwards, questionable. Jared Vanderbilt, questionable. And Jordan McLaughlin, questionable. That's all really big news. So we really need to know what's going to happen there. And like, for instance, 5'3" Patrick Beverley, if there happens to be no Ant Edwards and you're missing a bunch of those other guards too, like he's going to be an interesting option for sure. So ultimately, I need to get all the news here. And of like the early games, this news is probably the most important piece. And luckily, we will have that by 7. And if you want to kind of play these guys, you can, but they're not priorities in my lineup. You won't see me like jamming these guys in like a core on a cash chart, at least at this time. Depends on the news, though, obviously. That could shake everything up.
All right, Title, let's go to you on this game. Like Mangone said, wait for a little bit of news here, but do you have any interest in hitting the first game of the night?
If Vanderbilt's in, Anthony Edwards is in, I think it's a easy fade because it locks by itself. The Rockets news, Dennis Schroeder, we're going to get that game locks at 8 p.m. Eastern. So we always expect 30 minutes is the last. We always expect at least to get the news 30 minutes before. Usually we get it more than that. So if we fade this whole game, we'll most likely get the Schroeder news. We'll most likely get the Jimmy Butler news. We'll most likely get this starting lineup for the Pelicans that Mangone's talking about. And so much can change if we get this news. Whereas if you play some of these guys and you're locked into it, and then you get a weird starting lineup for the Pelicans, or Schroeder, Butler's out, and better value opens up, you're kind of going to be upset with yourself for playing something like this. Since I don't think any Magic are in play. And if Edwards, Vanderbilt play, I don't think any of them are in play. Yes, if Edwards is out, you can play a Towns at 10-7 overspend since there is some value. You could play a D Russ, a Pat Bev at 5-3, but I'll probably want them both out to be that way. 10 games, I just don't think it's a really good one to start. Easy to make lock time 30 minutes after when we're waiting on stuff.
The chat's going well. Ankur Malhotra, the Nets spanked the Sixers the other night. Kevin McLean, that was literally last night, bro. We got some good stuff going on in the chat. Mangone, can you set the like bar right here? What are we looking at usually on a Friday?
Hold on. Let's wait till we get like maybe 15 more minutes in. Let's see how many people we can get in the show before we pick the number. That way, it's a Friday. I don't know what the people are doing. I don't know if they're at work, or maybe they're going out and doing something. But hey, it's March Madness season. This is the time to grind, right? So we'll let the people get in here, and then we'll pick the number in like maybe 15 minutes. Come back to me on that one.
All right, we'll get back to you. Let's see how many we can get before we get back to Mangone, though. So we're at 83 right now. In 15 minutes, we should probably be at 120, and then we'll work from there. So like button if you're here. It's a stellar crew, an amazing crew. The always versatile, slightly genius Mangone. And then, of course, there's Title in town, who just rarely loses bets. Okay, Title, let's go to you for game number 2 right now. And for the Pistons, they gotta take on the Celtics. That's not good. But from what I remember, looking at earlier, the Pistons might have a ton of bodies out. So talk to me about the Pistons and the Celtics.
Man, another game that really just doesn't excite me too much. If you go to the Pistons side, though, Isaiah Stewart, Killian Hayes, Diallo, Rodney McGruder, Frank Jackson are all out. So it's a spot you look like you'd want to target them a bit. Marvin Bagley was popular last game. He played 27 minutes. I believe he was in foul trouble a little bit in that game. He only had 19 DK points. Coming off before that, he had 40 and he had 32. The usage was down. It just wasn't a good game. If you want to go back to him at 5-5, I think you can. I don't love targeting Boston, though. They're playing pretty good defensively. You look at the over-under in this game, 215.5, one of the smallest out there. Then as far as like the Boston side, they're healthy. So Jaylen Brown, Tatum, I just don't really play a lot of these guys when they're fully healthy. So another game, 10 games on the slate. The first 2 we talk about, I really don't have a lot of interest in. But Bagley would be my favorite one off the famous Snyder flop leg, but it's not. I'm not jamming them in. I'm like priority. If I fall on them, I fall on them.
What about you, Mangone? You like any Pistons tonight? I know we're waiting for a little bit of news here, but Pistons Celtics.
No, I don't really like this game too much. Like, you can make the argument, like, power forwards, like, it's not incredible today, right? Like, I mean, sure, there are good values there that you can play, right? Like Maxi Kleber, Herbert Jones, Daniel House, but like, you realize the names I'm saying, right? Like, these aren't incredible plays where like you could easily do like a spend up for like a Miles Bridges, a Marvin Bagley, a guy we talked about before, a Wendell Carter Jr., or an Al Horford who's in this game. So I think both the power forwards are like contrarian spend ups that can hit their ceiling. They're not guys that I'm looking to get into my lineups. Like, I'm playing 3 teams. I doubt I get to them too much, but I understand it if you want to go there. There are other people that aren't just playing 3 teams or they're playing 1 team. Like, there are people who are playing 150 lineups. If I was playing 150 lineups, I would want to look for some spend up power forward. So I think like a Bagley and a Horford where they're not totally at the top, right? You're not spending like 8K or 9K for the guys, but like they're just a little bit more. They're in that like 5 and 6K range where it gets you a little bit of a different build in tournaments. I don't hate going there. It's not like the craziest thing to do. Because again, these are the guys we're talking about. Maxi Kleber, Herbert Jones, Daniel House. Again, one's 3K. The other guys one of them's like 3-7. And then Jones is in like the 4K range. Obviously, those are really cheap plays and they can get the job done, but you can get a really different build by going up to that 5 or 6K range. So it's something to think about with a Bagley and a Horford. Again, I'm probably going to more likely backload, but if you were playing a lot of lineups, I would not tell you that you shouldn't do it in your MV.
Okay, 2 games down. Let's hit the like button. Check out Run Pure Sports if you ever got get a chance. And we got a lot going on at RPS right now. We've got the NBA in full swing. We know that. We got the golf. We got the MMA. Title said he taped a show earlier today. March Madness, I know we're going to be doing a whole bunch. Like I said, we'll have shows next Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Me, Big T, and Stevie Boynton will be doing those shows too. And then the bet side. If you're not betting, I don't know what you're doing. There's NBA picks from Spread. Tyler's doing player props. You can add the bet side for like $20. We got any promos going on as far as signups right now, Mangone, or is it just go to runpuresports.com?
It's players 33, get you 33% off of monthly, weekly package for everything. So use that code players 33, get you 33% off.
All right, players 33. We got the Up to Lock show today too. AP is on that show. Definitely AP is on that show. We'll see who else shows up. Doug McDermott.
I saw who it was on the schedule. Do you know who it was on the Rubio Dimes? Good old Rubio.
I mean,
I'm excited. I say it like that, everyone, because the Spread podcast, young guys, I got Rubio right. And Holden. It's fun with you two on a show.
Mangone, any chance you'll stop by for 2 minutes on that show?
I could stop by at the beginning. The beginning sounds like
great. That would be great because I do wonder if Rubio is as passionate about this. And I will say, if Rubio is timid,
Rubio is a talker. He said to Big T, "I will beat you one-on-one. I don't need any strokes." And then literally 10 minutes later, he said, "Okay, I need like 20 strokes in golf." So that dude is going to talk. He also said if you line up if you put Tyreek Hill at the end zone, right? Okay, put him at the end zone. Where does Rubio have to line up on the field in order to beat Tyreek Hill? I know it's gotten butchered and lost a little bit in telephone, but I think he said the 10 yard line only. Maybe the 15. He thinks he's that much faster than Tyreek Hill. Or not faster, but he thinks Tyreek is not that much faster than him.
He's almost as dumb as Tyreek Hill. That's saying something.
Like Rubio should probably be lining up at like the 50. And like that's like he'd still probably lose. I mean, I don't know how fast
Rubio, block it out. Just go make Hoop and I some money. You'll do fine.
I will have my selection for that game. I do want to say one more thing, Mangone. In the coordinators chat, Uncle T says he's going to kick the shit out of Mangone. What sport is that? What are you doing with Uncle T?
Uncle T's playing me in basketball too. We're doing it on a different day, not on Wednesday. We're going to do it probably in Big T's backyard. So yeah, I'm playing Uncle T as well. I told Uncle T, I said, listen, I'm already playing a game. I don't really want to do this with you, but he was so passionate about it. He wanted to smoke, and we have our little golf chat on the bet side. We do a golf show every Wednesday, and he's been talking on it. So I had to step up and finally say something. Cause like,
you versus Uncle T in basketball?
Correct. I mean, I don't think people really want to watch that, but it's going to happen.
I do.
I want to watch that.
I'd much rather watch that than you versus whoever else. You and Rubio. I would much rather watch Uncle T and Mangone. You have to win that, right? Are you giving him points?
No, because so everyone made fun of me all year, Holden. So I said, I don't care who I'm playing. I could be playing your son. I'm getting points against anyone. I'm not backing down on that. I'll tell you that. I am getting plus money because I got made fun of all year. So yeah, I'm happy to get my plus money.
The guy's like 90.
I don't care, Holden. I could literally be playing your son. I'm taking plus money. I got made fun of all year. You can't talk all year and then you can't make me a favorite. I'm sorry. It's just not allowed. That's not how it works, Holden. It's just not how it works.
My son catching, he's 4. You're not getting points on a 4-year-old.
I'm taking the points or I'm not playing. That's my rule. I'm not playing anyone without points. I'm not stepping on the court without getting plus money. I will not step on the court and play.
It's a smart move, title. It really is. That's a title move right there. Let's get to our next game. So we got through the Magic, the Celtics. We got the Clippers and the Hawks, man, going the Clippers and the Hawks. And I mean, we know the big guys are out for the Clippers, right? Do you want to bother with any of these guys? It's the Hawks and the Clippers. Is there anything you would want from this game?
Yeah, I actually think you could see a lot of scoring in this game. The problem is like guessing where the scoring is going. And on top of that, you have like price tags that I don't know if I really want to spend. Like you can make the argument like Clint Capella and John Collins, they're 5'8" and 5'9". Like in MME formats, like I would definitely want to separate them if I decided to play them. They're not someone I'm going to be playing today, but it just feels like it's hard to play that guessing game. Like 6'3" on a Bogdanovich. Is it Hunter or Herter? I don't know which one it's going to be. So that is one of the frustrating parts with that. If I play anyone, it's a Trae Young. That way I can like mix and match him with some value plays. And it's just a way to be different, right? He's 10.1K against the Clippers, while you have Luka, who's 12K with Jesse, gets the Rockets. It's a great matchup, but like it's a 2K difference that could add up and matter. There are ways that happens. Luka's also going to be way higher owned than a Trae Young. So in tournaments, I do think Trae Young is a really interesting spend up option. If you look at the Clippers side of the ball, Reggie Jackson is not someone I'm really looking to play on DK at 8-4. Could he get 50 fantasy points at 8-4? And would you be happy? Yeah, he could, but I'd much rather play him over on FanDuel at 7.5K. I'm not scared of Trae Young defense. So he's definitely in play. Marcus Morris is someone I talked about the power forward position, like going to that 5K range, maybe to be a little bit different today. Marcus Morris is 5.7K, coming off a really nice game against Washington. The rebound started to be there. He's at 8 rebounds, and he has not been rebounding as well. I don't know if that's just a fluke, but maybe the rebounds are going to finally be back. They're going to need his size in this game too. So I think at 5.7K, Marcus Morris definitely in play. Zubac is 6'5", which like he was streaking for a little bit. This is not the spot to attack Clint Capella. I will not be going there. And another like power forward that could be in play for cheap as like a pivot in that 4K range is Nick Batum. Like, again, you can go to these guys. They're all like options that I think they can fill out your MME builds, but they're not going to be priority guys for me. Like I said, I really want to wait till like this 8 o'clock game. And I don't want to be like too locked into guys because as we get to these other games, like I think you might see some different starting lineups where I kind of want to have enough flexibility. Like if I happen to play a Marcus Morris, I'm not going to play like Marcus Morris. I'm not going to then also play a Bagley, then also play a D'Angelo Russell. I'm not going to go too overweight on this game. Like even in MME, maybe you just limit like the first 3 games. You put like a max of 1 of each guy. That way you don't get like too much of them throughout your lineups. I think that's a smart idea. That way you give yourself the full flexibility to do late swapping as well.
All right. Thank you, Mangone. Let's hit the like button. Things are going well already on this Friday afternoon. We're at 1:35. We still got 10 minutes to ask Mangone what the bar is. See if we can get to 150. Hit the like button. Mangone, thank you very much for getting us on the right track there. Hawks hosting the Clippers. Title, give me something here. Anything yet?
No, I mean, I agree with Mangone. I think it's Trae Young on the Hawks side. Makes sense as a pivot. Luka's going to be the chalk up top. It's about 2K savings, get you on a different roster build. And I mean, yeah, I expect points to be scored in this game too. The Clippers aren't a scary defensive team by any means. We know Trae Young's ceiling, 10.1K. I'm seeing 10 to 15% owned. So he's my favorite Hawk for sure, the only one I'd go to. And as far as the Clippers, if you're running it back or something, Nick Batum at 4-4, he's power forward and center eligible. He's a pivot from like guys like Herbert Jones, stuff like that in the lower 4K range. And yeah, I mean, he's starting. He played 33 minutes last game. He can knock down open jump shots. Going to be sub 10% owned for sure. So if you have a really chalk build, you have 4-4, I think you can do worse than Batum. The only other one, Marcus Morris, like Mangone said, 5.7K, but he put up 48 last game, 35 minutes. He shot the ball very efficiently, had some rebounds fall in his lap, but anyone that's 5'7", going to be less than 10% owned and has shown 40 plus upside multiple times. I think it's interesting on a big slate. So Trae Young, Nick Batum, Marcus Morris, the only 3 I'm looking at.
Marcus Morris, the only 3 you're looking at. Okay, let's just move on to the next game then, because we were waiting on some Jimmy Butler news, right? Cavs at the Heat. Can you really look at the Cavs side in this with going up against Miami? And then what does the Butler news mean here? What are we, if we're waiting on Jimmy Butler news and he plays, are we just totally fading here?
Yeah, I mean, this game is definitely one of the grossest games. If Jimmy Butler's in, I think you just full fade it. You feel good about it. It's a 211 total. Like neither of these teams are teams we enjoy picking on. The Cavs, both teams are pretty healthy too, especially if Jimmy plays. The Cavs are really big, as we know. The prices are all right. Like Mobley at 7-2 would be my favorite since we know there's upside there, but I don't love the matchup. If Jimmy is out, yeah, like Bam at 8-6 gets a little bump. You'd have Tyler Hero, but now he's 7-7, Lowry 6-9. Even if Jimmy's out, I'm not seeing any must in this game. They'll just get small bumps. If he's in, I think it's an easy full fade. I'd much rather go to the Hawks game and the Clippers last game than I would at something like this game. So We're going to get to it, man. Go keeps talking about the 8 p.m. games being good and stuff. But yeah, these first games, I'm not going to tell you a play if I don't like it. So I just don't like this game.
Okay. It's as simple as that. No big deal. Let's go to the Knicks and the Grizzlies then. We got a 230 token.
Go to Mangone on that to see if he agrees, though.
What's that, Mangone? Do you agree or disagree with title?
Yeah, we can move on to the Knicks and Grizzlies.
Good. Even if Jimmy's in, you're kind of on the same page.
Yeah, even if he's out, I'm kind of on the same page.
Oh, that's what I meant. If he's out,
I don't need this game. Like, there's just better spots, I think. Like, so
I like it.
It's a pretty big slate, so I'm good. I'm just being out on this game.
Yeah, well, rock chalk, Leo. Let's do it. Like button would be great. Let's move on to our next game. Title's going to take the first one, or the first side of the Knicks and the Grizzlies. Ja, Desbane. Do you want to look at Alec Burks tonight? What do you want here, Title? From a total of 230, there's got to be a little bit of goodness for you. It's the second highest total on the slate.
Yeah, I mean, Alec Burks, he's starting at point guard. The minutes are there, 38, 35, 26, 35, 30, 33, etc. He had 38 fantasy points last game. 5-5 starting point guard, a pretty big total, and the game should be up and down. Memphis is a team that likes to run, so I think Burks is fine. Mitchell Robinson, 4.9K. He's only center eligible. So his ownership's going to be down. But, man, we talk about a lot on this show. His upside, 35, 32, 52 in the past 3 games. The minutes are all over. The outcome is all over. That's why he's a boomer bust tournament play. But the ceiling is always there. So I don't mind him at 4.9K. He's going to have to body Steven Adams a little bit. Has stock upside as always. As far as the Memphis side, yeah, Desmond Bane, 6'6", shooting guard and small forward eligible. He's just a hooper. Plenty of upside as always. So I'm good with him at 6'6", but like Ja at 10'8", I'm going Trae Young at 10'1", saving the 700 in that matchup every time over Ja here. So I don't see much on the Memphis side. I probably will full fade Desmond Bane, maybe Jaren Jackson at power forward 6'5". We know he has upside, but he has foul trouble. Those two would be my favorite. Probably going to cross off Memphis. I'm good with Burks though at 5'5". Mitch Rob at 4'9" would be my 2 favorites.
Okay, Mangone, let's get your breakdown of this one. Knicks at the Grizzlies.
Yeah, so we did talk about this one a little bit in the Discord chat with K Falik. We're talking about quickly a little bit, which I kind of think he's a sneaky play based on some of the rotation stuff. K Falik wasn't posting the chart, so I had to dive in and post a chart for him. And yeah, I think that quickly is a pretty interesting option at 5'2" as like a contrarian play. Alec Burks at 5'5". Definitely someone that's getting some ownership where you can make the argument quickly could be a little bit of leverage on him. Like if the game happened to blow out, which it certainly could, well, if it blows out, quickly gets that run in the fourth quarter, which you want. And then if this game stays close, I likely think it's because that bench is able to keep it close. And like quickly's probably part of that. And he comes in early too. So I think there's just like a lot of ways it can go right for him. The price tag at 5'2", it's feels uncomfortable. And it also doesn't feel exactly like the right slate because of all the value that we have. But those are tournament plays that you can take shots on that sometimes can get the job done. If you look at the game log on quickly, 27.5, 43, 47, 29.5, 17.75, 30.75. I mean, that's all in March. Like that's pretty solid for him. And even at 5'2", it definitely gets the job done. So don't mind him. I like RJ Barrett at 7'9". I don't know if you guys have noticed, but like the small forward position just hasn't been as great when it comes to DraftKings and the way that they kind of do their positions, where I think sometimes you have to play a guy like an RJ Barrett, right? You have like a spend up that you might have to go to. And that's why we've been going a lot cheaper at small forward. But if you do have the money to spend, let's say you are going down on all these guards, well, then you got to spend somewhere. And I think spending on RJ Barrett at 7'9" is not a bad idea. And if you play Ja Morant, I think if you play if you play RJ Barrett, I like the idea of playing Ja Morant as like maybe a run back or like another Grizzly, maybe like a Steven Adams, just because like if RJ Barrett hits that massive ceiling game where like you ship, like let's say you're in the live final, Like you're playing for first place. If you're playing for first and you got like an RJ Barrett and you're able to get John Morant on your teams without forcing it too much, I think it's a good idea, just because if he has a ceiling game, then some of those Grizzlies will pop off too, no doubt, because if that game is close and competitive, Ja will probably go absolutely crazy. So that's kind of an approach that you can take, but I don't want to force it too much. Definitely something I'll be thinking about. My two favorite plays in this game, though, are probably quickly RJ Barrett, and then the third one would be probably Alec Burks as well.
Alec Burks?
Yeah.
What do you think about that title? I was just here, Mango, talking about the small guard position on DK. Any thoughts on that?
I've never heard anything about the small guard position. The small forward position, though, I have heard some things about that. And I agree. I think Barrett on both sides. FanDuel 7-5. Sorry, Holden, I had to say so, especially after that interesting comment. Had to fire that one back on you. But no, I think I
small guard.
Yeah, small guard. That's
so I said small guard.
Wait, who said
Why
small
didn't you
guard?
just go with small guard? You can't just go with it?
No, not after your comment earlier about interesting. I couldn't let that one slide.
Oh, you're really hurt by that. You're a little hurt by that. It's okay.
Hey, say it how it is. But RJ Barrett, I think that is a good call, and he's playing all the minutes he can handle with upside. So I agree with that.
Like button would be nice. Are we there yet, Mangone? I mean, it's 20 after already.
Yeah, we can go with it. So we're at 340. We have 157, which isn't bad. Lighter views for a Friday, but let's go with 230. 230 feels like a good number. Ooh. We can push that home.
Completely attainable.
Yeah, we'll get more people filing into. I got faith we'll get it done. 230.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking 250, but that's all right, Mangone. You're being a man of the people today. It's nice to see. Hit the like button. We're at 159. All you got to do, what is that? 41. That's 71 more. That's absolutely nothing. Small guard.
I liked how you did that math. That's how I do it too.
Which is, you did what math?
Well, it was 159. You added 1 to make it 160. Then you added that to get to the. I saw how you did. I saw how you played it out in your head and how you talked about it.
There's a dude that just hit me up in the chat. He is. It looks like he's just driving a tractor, or he's driving through a farm with his dog listening to us, which is completely awesome. Love it.
Awesome.
Yeah. Is anybody not sitting in their house, just watching this on television or their mobile device? I'm interested. How are you watching this show? Let's hear it. Mango, we'll start with you on the next game. Mavericks, Rockets, right? Let's see. I think this is going to be a popular one, right? Luka up top, going to be a big one. Jayshawn Tate is one guy we're looking at, right?
He's doubtful.
Christian Wood. Tate well, that's what I meant. Tate and Wood not looking like they're going to play.
Schroeder, the questionable one, that's big.
Okay, so let's hear it, Mangone. Mavs, Rockets.
Yeah, so we'll start with the Mavs first, just so we can get it out of the way. Luka, great play. Definitely consider playing him. The only other value play on the Mavs I'd look to go to is probably Maxi Kleber. You can make the argument for like Reggie Bullock, but feels like the wrong slate to do it. I don't need to go there. Houston Rockets, though, let's talk about them because that's where we really want to go to. They don't have a ton of guard options, right? And if Dennis Schroeder happens to sit also, then that really just secures the role of Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green, even at their price tags. People might say 6K is getting expensive for Jalen Green. 6.8 is getting expensive for Kevin Porter Jr. I disagree. I hope we get the Dennis Schroeder news that he's out. I hope we get it kind of late. That way it just secures their roles even more. But even if he's in, I still think you can play those guys. Sengun at 6'2". I think he's another great option. 6'2", feels kind of expensive. FanDuel 5'2", definitely going to be a great play. I'm curious if Title puts him in green on the cash chart. I feel like he's just someone you got to play today.
He will be green. I'll give the freeloaders one on that one.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a lock there. So
not a hot take though.
Yeah, I mean DK, you can make arguments like 6'2". Sure. You can make arguments to not do it, but I'm currently going to do it. The role he's just in is so great. KJ Martin at 4'9". That's another guy like. You might see that price tag and be like, okay, I just paid 4.2 for him. And like, it's still KJ Martin, but I think it's a decent role for him. He played 40 minutes last game. Yes, that game went into overtime, but 33 the game before. And I think he's definitely worth looking at. I also think John Christopher saw a pretty nice, I think he's seeing a pretty nice role here. 22 minutes, 28 minutes, last 2 games, 31 fantasy points each. He has shot pretty efficiently. But he's played well and he's a young guy. And this is that time of year where you start seeing the young guys get a little bit more run. And let's say John Christopher doesn't shoot incredible tonight. He might gain more minutes though, just because he's a young guy. And especially if like a Schroeder is out, well, that can cause like the slide down effect because these guys don't play, like it's positionless basketball. So guys can like go to different positions where like maybe John Christopher takes up some of those Dennis Schroeder minutes, or maybe an Eric Gordon takes some of those minutes where then John Christopher slides into a spot at the 3. So it's positionless basketball where if Schroeder is out, this is going to give some bumps to some other guys. It could even give it to a Garrison Matthews, but I think betting on some of these young guys is not a bad idea. And like a John Christopher is a really contrarian one in this game. My top guys though, it's probably Sengun is my number 1, followed by Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, KJ Martin. And then the 5th guy for me is probably John Christopher, and then followed by Garrison Matthews at 3-4. He just got to make his jump shots. That's the key. And he didn't get a ton of minutes last game, but if his shots fall, then he'll get those minutes and he'll be very low owned and leverage some of these other guys. So there's a lot to like in this game, lot to talk about. And you want to get some Rockets on your lineups today.
Got to get some Rockets in the lineup, Title. You got to get somebody. Run with it.
So Chad is all over Mangone. Yes, he means Josh Christopher, not John Christopher. You guys all knew he was talking about, but
John. I mean, dude, you wouldn't know him if you ran him in the grocery store. You think he's a dude that plays at like your local high school. Like, I mean, yeah, same thing. John.
Yes, but people knew what you were talking about. People are also saying they don't see Dennis Schroeder as questionable. It sounds like they're just looking at the DraftKings app, though. I'm still seeing that he's questionable on multiple sites with the ankle injury. Mangone can look into that while it's going on, but I'm seeing questionable. DK doesn't have it that way.
Yeah, I have questionable Title, which like, again, they played really well, those young guys the other day. Our boy Johnny Christopher. So now we're just going to roll with it. Our boy Johnny Christopher and Sengun, they played really well together at times. Even KJ Martin looked good. Like there are reasons just be like, hey, like Dennis Schroeder, no offense to Dennis, like he's not really part of their future, right? We're starting to get into March and April where we really, really, really need to start looking at these guys. If you're the Rockets, you got to figure out what you're doing. And I believe I saw something just come across my timeline where like, I think they just like signed a couple Rockets to like some longer term deals, which sometimes that shows your hand a little bit. So yeah, the Rockets have decided to guarantee 1.8 million salaries to Garrison Matthews and KJ Martin for the 2022 and 23 season. So Martin and Matthews have proven themselves as role players who fit in with the Rockets' long-term rebuilding plan. So you got to feel good about Martin and like even Matthews. Matthews is literally going to be probably like 4% today. But if the shot is falling from the 3-point line, he could easily be on that winning lineup and be a contrarian play. So all these Rockets are definitely really intriguing, and I want to make sure to get exposure to them today.
Yeah, I agree with these. There's more people. I guess FanDuel said he's going to play. I definitely wouldn't get my news from FanDuel, but multiple people are saying Schroeder's going to play. Someone tag me in Discord with the link. I'd appreciate that. But I mean, regardless,
some sites have different stuff. Like I'm looking at the Basketball Monster Run right now. That one has questionable. Like, guys, it's Dennis Schroeder. Like, there's easily a chance he could sit. Like, it's just.
I mean, if someone has some for sure, tag me in Discord. But regardless if he's in or out, like I talked a lot of the first games we talked about how I didn't have much interest. Man, this game is definitely the opposite. This is why you do fade full games so you can play games like this. We've been picking on Houston for months and months. They just don't play defense. They play fast. Lately, they've been in a lot of close games too. With the injuries though, without Wood, without Tate, Sengun, he's 6.2K. Finally, the prices come up. He could be 7.2K though, and I might play this guy. Like he is a really good fantasy point per minute producer. Double is always there. So give me Sengun 6.2. I'll tag him on the cash chart FanDuel. He's just way mispriced. KJ Martin, Josh Green, Eric Gordon. I think all those guys make some sense. I said, Josh Green, 3.2K. I do think on Dallas, he makes some sense. I meant Jalen Green though, 6K on Houston. I think him and KPJ makes sense, but I would play them if Schroeder was out. If he was in, which again, I don't know fully confirmation. I'm going to look at Discord after this. I probably wouldn't play the backcourt, KPJ and Jalen Green. Sengun, the for sure play. KJ Martin, definitely going to be a strong play. As far as Dallas side, Luke is obviously the chalk on the slate, 12K. We have enough value on the slate to make it work. AP's boy Bertans, I see no ownership on him. If you want a 3.1K shots, Dallas is small in the front court. So Maxi Kleber, they're short in the front court. Maxi Kleber at 3.7, Dwight Powell at 4K. I think you can do with some of these guys, kind of a stars and scrubs build, stack it all up. The injury report, we didn't say it though, but Jalen Brunson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Tim Hardaway, Marquise Chris, Theo Pinson are out. So that's why a Kleber and Dwight Powell, I think, are fine for value. Even Reggie Bullock, I get what Mangone's saying, how you might not want to go there. But 4.2K. He's going to chuck a lot of threes. This game is tasty for sure. Sengun and Luka, the two definite best plays, but Maxi Kleber, Dwight Powell, KJ Martin, Eric Gordon 4-2. There's a lot of value you can find in this game too, which I like to do. If I love a game and there's good value, I like jamming in a couple of the pieces. Fast-paced game, a lot of shots, more rebounds, more opportunities. It's a good game to target.
All right, very good. Mangone, anything else to add? Or are we done there?
No, nothing else too much to say. I mean, it's a great game. The big question on this slate is going to be comparing the Rockets value versus the Pelicans value. So the Pelicans value does look better. So we talked a lot about the Rockets one, but we'll talk about the Pelicans here shortly, I'm sure, because that's what we're going to really be comparing a lot of today.
So we got some games in that 8 o'clock Eastern time hour.
And quick, Gavitt said, is Josh Green in play? Because I did say Josh Green, then Jalen Green. Yeah, Mangone, I mean, you can chime in on this too, but like 3.2K, there's Bertans 3-1. They have Powell, they have Kleber. All these guys are getting minutes though. Josh Green, 17, 18, 28 minutes in his past 3. Again, 32 fantasy points in one, 15, and then 3 in the other. I'm not sure it's the slate you need it, but like a Bertans, a Green, a Powell, like I think a Dallas value or 2 is going to get there on the slate, but the floor is a lot lower than it is on guys on the Pelicans. You agree with that?
Yeah, I'd rather just go Garrison Matthews because they're the same position. They're only a $200 difference. And like, I think if Garrison Matthews does get there, like I think him and Matthews and Green both have like similar likelihoods of them getting there, where I would rather just have the leverage, right? Where I'm leveraging on another Rocket that could underperform. Like, I mean, they're not going to be as owned as I'm saying, like the other day. The Pelicans are going to be way more owned, but like, I think that Garrison Matthews would be the better one to do it with. I guess that's just where my approach is. And I'm not playing 150 lineups. If you were playing 150 lineups and like you were doing like a Luka with like a run back, like, and let's say you had like 3 or 4 Rockets with a Luka and you needed a value and like you had like another Maverick in there and it happened to be Josh Green, I wouldn't say it was the worst idea.
And before we get to the next game, I'm glad.
And Edwards is playing, by the way.
He's playing. Cool. You can just cross that one off. Josh Henry in chat. I'm glad he said it. Yeah. Spencer Dinwiddie. None of us mentioned him, but Dinwiddie is definitely a good play. He's 6'3" on DraftKings. He's 5'6" on FanDuel. So I think he's a good play on both sides. Without Brunson, he has to do so much more with the ball. The Rockets double Luke all game, which some teams do. Dinwiddie would be a smash. So we didn't mention it. Glad you brought it up. Dinwiddie's a good play on both sides too. This game's a good one for sure.
The game is a good one for sure. I like to hear that. Okay. Like button is, where are we on the like button? Like 188. Come on. Mangone set it for 230. Move your butts. Also, this is interesting, guys. So we had the guy on the farm that's driving with his dog. Candace says she makes sure her hair is down so she can hide her headphones. That's brilliant. I mean, Title, that's you smart. Can do that, right? You've done that before, right? Your long hair, glowing.
The good old days.
In the good old days? Oh, you cut your hair off? You don't like put it up in a bun up there?
And there's no bun up here.
There's no bun?
Hey, I think my hair is longer than Title's right now.
Is it
probably
really?
Is.
Wow.
I haven't had a haircut since that one show I did with you where you said I looked great holding with that haircut.
You look great with that haircut.
Yeah, I haven't done it since. We'll see how much longer we keep going.
Unfortunate. I'm on a boat fishing, watching. It's spawning season for bass. So Lucia is fishing and watching fish bang each other. That is amazing.
Cold beer on a boat in a lake. If it's not ice fishing, you could sign me up for that.
Yeah, there's no bass in the ice fishing, are there? I don't know. I'm not.
I do not know.
I've never been. Mangone, ice fishing? Yes or no?
Ice fishing? You said?
Yeah, I did say that. Yes.
I mean, I try it, but I'm not like, it's not like my go-to, right? Like if I had some buddies that were going, I'd be like, yeah, we'll give it a shot. Like, I also don't want to like ice fish and like camp out for the night. Like I want like a house close by just in case I'm having a terrible time and can get away and, go watch some sports.
Then going Hornets, Pelicans, right? We got a lot going on here. So it could be a popular game.
Yep. Probably going to be the most popular spot of the night, mainly because of the Pelicans. They're missing Brandon Ingram. They're missing CJ McCollum. So this is definitely going to be a game that we got to go to. I'm very curious to see what the starting lineup is because JT's boy, Tony Snell, has been in the starting lineup, but I don't know if he's going to start as much just because I think they need when you have Tony Snell in there, they have CJ McCollum typically ball handling and doing a lot, but now you kind of need some better ball handlers in there. Is Tony Snell the guy that you want to have in there? I could see him not playing. I definitely see them going with their typical Jones Valanciunas, Jackson Hayes, and Devontae Graham. Also think that Juan Alvarado, he's going to be a great play. Do you guys see what I'm doing there? I'm mispronouncing every single name.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right. I had no reaction. I figured Holden.
Well, it took you too long to say it. So
yeah, it was not a good move.
Whatever. I enjoyed it. So Mr. Alvarado, though, is going to be a good play. Not as good as a Devontae Graham and not as good as a Jonas Valanciunas. Those are probably my two favorite plays on the Pelican side. Herbert Jones probably is number 3 for me. Then I'd probably lean like 4 and 5, probably become like probably Alvarado, just because I know his usage off the bench is good. And I could even see him starting. I would not be surprised to see him starting for Tony Snell or even a Najee Marshall. Can even say Trey Murphy getting there too. So those are guys that I'm looking to see who slides in for the Tony Snell spot. I do think that you are going to see Tony slide back to the bench. And I think you're going to see one of those guys come into the lineup. I think it's going to be Alvarado. And if it is him, definitely going to be someone that I'm looking to get onto my lineups. The key though is like Alvarado's point guard, right? Graham is point guard. You don't have a lot of like shooting guard eligible guys from like this Pelicans team that you can really go to. So that's going to be one of the issues on this slate. Like, where if you play both those point guards, well, now I'm running out of spots. That's why like guys like John Morant could really lose some ownership today because you're not gonna be able to spend up for him because in the later game, Donovan Mitchell is going to be a point guard that's grading out better than a John Morant. So the point guard position has a lot of really good value plays that you're going to want to go to. And Valanciunas, like I said before, he's playing against Charlotte. Like this is the stone spot where he absolutely is going to crush. He is 7.8K though. So he does have to pay off that tag, but man, it is hard to fade like centers against Charlotte. It's just a very difficult thing to do. And if you want a run back or two, like LaMelo Ball can always make sense. But the problem I have with LaMelo Ball is he's 8.6K and he's at that point guard spot where I struggle to play him. If I'm going to play a guard on the Hornets side, I'd rather play Terry Rozier because of that shooting guard eligibility. That matters a lot more there. And this defense is going to be terrible, I'm sure, because they have all these G League guys basically in there besides Valanciunas and Herb Jones. And then like Miles Bridges at 7.3K, he's at that small forward spot where that's like an interesting run back, which when you get these games that are really up and down the floor with not a lot of defense played, that's where a Miles Bridges can really thrive. So I like maybe a Bridges or a Rozier as a run back way better than a LaMelo Ball.
So Robert does want to know how much Jose Avocado you're going to have tonight.
I don't know how much I'm going to have yet because I need to know if he's starting. If he starts, I'll probably have like on 3 of my teams, I'll probably have 2 of them for sure. If it's, I'm likely going to have 1 though. I think it's good to have exposure to Alvarado on this slate, just because he's going to come in really early and he's going to run that second unit. And not only that, he could run that second unit and then get that closeout time where he plays so well. He just plays into more minutes. He could even start the second half because he plays so well in the first half. So definitely going to be a guy that I'm looking to get exposure to today. So I'll either have 1 or 2. I think if he starts, then there's a chance I have him on all 3 of my teams.
Title, is avocado a fruit or a vegetable? Good question, isn't it? It's got a big seed. You think so? You think it's a fruit or a vegetable?
I was going to go a fruit, but I do not know.
Mangone?
I mean, I assume it's a vegetable, right? I mean, that's
an assumption though, right?
I have no clue.
I'd rather have your take on the Hornets and the Pelicans anyways, while I try and research the avocado.
I thought you were going to know. Well, I was going to say,
no, I don't. I'm not an avocado person. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. But going into the game, yeah, I mean, it's the New Orleans Pelicans.
It's a fruit.
It's a fruit.
Yeah.
Got it. That was very lucky. I had no clue. Mm-hmm. Anyway, on this game, yeah, I mean, without Ingram, without CJ, the best players, like you're going to have to love this game. Joe Val, 7-8. If there's ever a time to play Joe Val, it's got to be in this spot as the only guy. He's going to have the usage. It's against Charlotte. Great play. Herbert Jones, Jackson Hayes, Devontae Graham, the other pretty surefire starters, the other 4, I think all of them make a lot of sense and are all very good plays. Who the 5th one's going to be, who knows? Is it Tony Snell? If it is, he's still a fade. I'm not playing Tony Snell. I'm sorry, JT. If it's Alvarado, yeah, 3.1K, you'd have to have a lot of interest in Alvarado. He'd have to probably handle the point guard duties mainly, more Devontae Graham off ball, but regardless, either one can bring it up. I think Alvarado would be strong at 3-1. Maybe it's like Najee Marshall, 3.3K. I'm not sure. His minutes have definitely been all over the place. If he starts though, 3-3, small forward, power forward eligible, I'd have interest in Najee Marshall. So this is where we're talking about. The starting lineup makes a lot of sense and means a lot. I'll wait for it. If it's Marshall, I'll play him. If it's Alvarado, I'll play him. If it's Snell, I still won't have interest. The other 4 starters definitely have to have interest in. As far as the Charlotte side, so this is where we go, the difference between DraftKings and FanDuel. LaMelo, 8.6 DraftKings. Not going to pay that price probably. 7.5 on FanDuel though. You definitely have to have some interest on FanDuel. Tons of ceiling in a good game, close spread. I like LaMelo. I shouldn't say love LaMelo. It's impossible to really love him anymore because the minutes are so all over the place. They have other hoopers, but I do think he has a ceiling there. Miles Bridges on FanDuel, he's 6.9K. You go and you look at it on DraftKings, he's 7.3. Closer price tag. I think he's playable on both sites, but 6.9 on FanDuel is definitely cheap. Terry Rozier would be my run back on DraftKings over LaMelo. 7.9K. People just never play him. He'll probably be sub 5% again. And man, he just plays upper 30s minutes and he just fills it up. 29 coming off a bad game. 55, 50, 54, 37, 48, 47. No one ever plays him. He's always forgotten about. The price is up there, but his upside is so big with those minutes. So DraftKings, he'd be my favorite run back. You can still play Bridges, a PJ or something, but I don't like the Charlotte side as much. FanDuel, LaMelo would be my favorite run back. Bridges would make some sense too. Pelicans are going to be playable on all sites. And I probably will run a back Charlotte side on each site since the prices, you can find one. On DraftKings, you can find one. On FanDuel, you can find a run back. I think that's kind of how I'm going to approach this game since you're going to play Pelicans for sure in your lineups.
Gavitz wants me to ask you about the Plum Dog, 30 minutes last game. He's a subscriber, so I'll throw it out to you guys.
Yeah, I mean, the center's completely loaded. I will say it's not completely loaded, but there's like JoVal. He's only center eligible 7-8. We talked about Mitch Robb. There's some centers on the slate, but I just don't see him being the second center on my teams at 4 or 5 personally. And he can get in foul trouble against JoVal. So it's going to be a no for me.
Okay. Very good. We'll get to the Jazz and the Spurs in just a second. Mangone wanted 230 likes. We're at 213. We still got 3 games to go. And the best part about it is I don't think K Fallick's anywhere around to complain that we need to get off the air. I mean, I am hosting the Up to Lock show, so we can go as long or as short as we want to. Yes, this is my real hair. I did have a question about that. The secret is not avocados, but guacamole is delicious. What do you think about that, Mangone? A little guacamole action on a Friday afternoon?
Did you say a game? I don't know. You talked about guacamole.
Oh, you caught him. You caught him, Holden.
What are you reading, buddy? What are you looking at? Be honest.
What was I looking at? I had it up. I skipped the tabs. Oh, I'm talking about the trades where Deshaun Watson could actually be going. So you caught me off guard. I think Miami's still more alive than some other.
And you just said avocado delicious. We would have moved on, but Title called you out. Title's just calling everyone out today. It's odd.
What?
Yeah, I don't know why you're doing that.
You started it. You started on this show, Holden. You drew the line in the sand first.
That's true.
You're the one who
you guys took offense to something that wasn't offensive, but that's fine.
We didn't take offense to it. We just keep calling you out for it.
We just called the truth, Holden. That's all. We just literally called it how it is. We know what you were doing.
I can't say anything that you're wrong. Okay. You keep answering for Deshaun. Is that the NFL chat in our Discord, or is it this like a buddy situation going on?
No, like a buddy, and I don't know. I just happened to catch it, and I heard you talking about avocados, and I was like, oh.
Well, it's Title's turn, but I'll just go right to you then. What do you think of the Jazz and the Spurs tonight?
Oh, this is definitely a good game, and the reason why is like Donovan Mitchell getting that shooting guard eligibility matters a ton. Like I talked about how like that point guard position like is important, and like shooting guard is a little rough on this slate. So I like Donnie Mitchell at 8.6, definitely someone I'm looking to get on my teams, and also there's no Bogdanovich, and no Bogdanovich. There's some usage to go around. You're also going to see Daniel House starting. He's at that small forward, power forward position at 3K. These are 2 of my favorite plays in this game. Mitchell at 8.6 and Daniel House at 3K for the value that he provides. I also think Rudy Gobert at 7.4. Whew, let's not sleep on that price tag. That's a nice price for Rudy Gobert going up against a Spurs team that they struggle down low. And with no Bogdanovich there, Bogdanovich plays a lot of time at the 4. And when he's at that 4 position, well, that sometimes is going to help maybe secure Rudy Gobert's minutes, where also a guy like Hassan Whiteside, you could see him get into foul trouble on DeJounte Murray driving to the hoop a ton, where if Whiteside gets in foul trouble, they're happy to bring Rudy Gobert right back in and trot him out there for 40 minutes on the night. So the Jazz are also on the road, which helps the Spurs because they are the favorites by 6 points. So I think a 7.4K Rudy Gobert is naturally going to go under-owned on this slate because Valanciunas is 7.8. Most people are just going to gravitate to him. A lot of people are not going to put in another center in their spot because of how valuable guard is today. People are going to plug in more guards, it seems like. So what's naturally going to happen is I think Rudy Gobert does not get as much ownership. His last couple of games have been a bit brutal too, where people open up the game logs and they'll see Portland and be like, it's Portland. He should have dominated. Well, he only played 22 minutes. That's why he only had 22 fantasy points against Dallas. Yeah, he hit 34.25 in 34 minutes, but the minutes were there. And this matchup against the Spurs, he can get the job done. Rudy Gobert at 7.4K is a really nice contrarian option. And those are mainly the three guys I'm looking at. You can make an argument like a Luka, he's 12K. There's always ways that he cannot get the job done at that price tag because DeJounte Murray could easily go for 70 fantasy points while Luka goes for 65. And that 11K price tag could be better. Yes, both could be on the winning team together with how much value is on the slate, but DeJounte Murray at the top is definitely a stud that you need to be considering on this slate.
All right, title's all business. I was going to give him a choice. He could either say what Mangone was really doing, or you could break down the game. My sense is he wants to break down the game, though. He's a nice kid. He loves talking basketball, and he's got the Jazz and the Spurs. Can I interest you? It's a Donovan Mitchell, Mr. Titletown.
Well, I was also going to say, Mangone, I believe everything he said. I mean, he told us what he was doing. He told the people. So that, I believe Mangone for sure. As far as this game, I'm just going to fade the Spurs, I think, more than likely. Lonnie Walker, 4-2. Like, again, if you want a pivot in the low 4K range, Jackson Hayes, Herbert Jones, some of the Pelicans chalk. Yeah, Lonnie Walker, maybe they've just beat him outright. Different positions, gets you on a little different build. I wouldn't mind that, but, like, I'm not going to pay 11K for DeJounte, I don't think. I don't love picking on Utah. Trae Young, I would take the $900 savings. So I don't see myself going to San Antonio. As far as Utah, though, yeah, I mean, without Bogdanovic, it's bigger news than we think. He plays good minutes. He strokes it from downtown. There's usage to go around now. D. Mitch, 8-6, sign me up. Rudy Gobert, 7-4, sign me up. Daniel House, like Mangone said, 3K min price for a starter with Luke on the slate, Trae on the slate. If you do want DeJounte, yeah, Daniel House, 3K makes sense. Like, it's not a play I'm going to go out of my way to jam in. It's not a surefire Malachi Flynn starting. He's 3K, just play him because he's going to play 36 minutes with usage. I'm not saying he's a value like that, but I think he makes sense at 3K. Jordan Clarkson, Mike Conley. I think you can make a case for 4 or 5 of these Utah guys. I wouldn't play a Gobert and D Mitch together, or probably wouldn't play like a Clarkson or D Mitch. I probably wouldn't pair multiple of them unless one is Daniel House, just because I'm not going to play any Spurs. I feel like it'll be a little overboard. 3 Utah, no Spurs. Hope it stays close. So probably going to set a max 2, and Daniel House would be one of the 2. But I think a Gobert or D Mitch, a Conley or Clarkson, I think one of them definitely has a good game in this spot. D Mitch would probably be my favorite. Gobert would be my second. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind if you want to go Gobert at center.
Okay, let's one more time here. Well, we might do it again after this. We got 2 more games. We got Raptors, Suns, Wizards, Lakers. Mangone, again, football's over, and there's still a trillion different things to get into here in DFS. We got golf. Title just did an MMA show. We've got basketball, obviously the bread and butter here. We got our 3 big guys that are in the World Championships tonight. Is K. Fallick in that one too, Mangone?
I think he is. He said he was heading down there and he was doing research on the way. Yeah. So I think Kevin Fallick will be there, and he's been on a nice little good run, bad run where he's been towards the top and then hit some bad luck. So hopefully it can all align for K. Fallick or one of the Rum Pier guys today.
He's on fire. Seriously, that dude he's on another level right now. He's like been this close multiple times. Every time I work with him, he comes on. He's like, God damn it, I'm in a bad mood. I'm like, dude, you've won $100,000 or something like that over the last 2 weeks. It could have been $1 million. All right.
And like Colden, you won't know this, but like in the MMA chat, he plays a random televised captain slate. No one plays. $330 in. He wins 8,500. He just plays at the end. Yeah. Well, no one will know about it, but yeah, that's just what K. Fallick does.
I feel for Fallick more because it's hard to get to the top. So when you are at the top, it's painful when it doesn't work out.
Oh, for sure. You feel for him.
Yeah, it's painful, but
I wouldn't know anything about that. So the code right now at Run Pure Sports is players 33, Mangone. Players 33, correct? What do they get with that?
Yeah, they get 33% off using the code players33 off their first payment. So monthly, weekly, whatever you want to do. Include SaberSim as well. So if you want to get in on the SaberSim and try that out, this is a great way to do it. Getting 33% off. If you want to try this for the first time, now's the time to do it, right? Get in there. Promise you'll like it. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me about it. I'm happy to answer questions about that. I think if you're hand building teams in NBA DFS, like, listen, I like the hand build. I think it's fun, but good luck. You need to be using an optimizer. I think it's way more valuable and way more helpful. And SaberSim is able to help you do that. Yes, there are ways you can win hand building. I'm saying you can't, but I do think you can hand pick teams by using an optimizer, which is way better. So definitely get in on that now. 33% off using the code PLAYERS33.
All right, man, going Raptors, Suns, 221 total. So not the highest total. Just look at the playbook here. Van Vliet on FanDuel. What stands out about Van Vliet on FanDuel? Obviously a pricing thing.
What is his price? Is it like just dirt cheap? Well, I haven't
7.6K.
It's not like a 6'9" or something crazy. So I mean, it's fine. The minutes are good, but I don't need to go there. The only guy I'm really considering is Devin Booker at the shooting guard position. I talked about a shooting guard is like kind of rough today. And that's why Devin Booker is kind of in there. Now, of course, yes, Donovan Mitchell is a great shooting guard play. I've already talked him up, but if you're looking for a contrarian pivot off of Donovan Mitchell, well, your guy there is Devin Booker. There you go. Like, play him. He's a really good option. There's no Chris Paul. Obviously, Campaign is in there sliding into that role a little bit. It's against the Raptors where I expect them to keep it competitive enough. And Devin Booker can pop off for a big game if he gets hot. He had 55 fantasy points last time against Miami. Tough matchup. 8.8K. Certainly can get the job done again here. And that was only on 12 field goal attempts, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. The triple-double upside is there for a guy like Devin Booker. That price tag is cheap. I don't even like the idea of let's say you're building out these really good, let's say you're building these teams out with these really good options like Devontae Graham, Valanciunas, a really chalky build. And let's say that Luka is on one of those teams. Swap Luka out for Devin Booker and then upgrade a spot. And that's a great team probably. That's a huge difference in price. It's a 3K gap between those guys. Devin Booker can easily be very close to what Luka does. And that 3K could go a long way. Like I talked about at the power forward position, maybe get off of one of those cheaper power forwards and then go up a little bit higher. That might be the difference in winning a GVP tonight. So definitely like the idea of maybe playing a Donovan Mitchell with a Devin Booker and not playing it with a Luka. I think that's an interesting GVP route to take.
Okay. Titletown, Phoenix, Raptors.
I agree with Mangone. I mean, D-Book's that dude. Everyone knows it. He's sub 9K. It doesn't look like he's going to be very popular. The game's only a 5-point spread. Just put up 55 DK points. He only had a 22% use or 23% usage in that game. Shot 12 times. The peripherals are there. Cam Johnson's out, which might go overlooked for some people. He has to rebound the ball a little more. I mean, the guy's just a flat out stud. He's under 9K. So I think D-Book makes a ton of sense. If you want to go DeAndre Ayton, 7.2K, I think he makes sense. If this game stays close, the minutes will be there. He has upside against Birch, Precious Achua, Boucher. He can style on those guys down low. So Booker 8-9, 8 and 7-2. The only two I'm really Campaign 6-9. The price is up there. He definitely has a ceiling. He's played over 30 minutes, the 4 games, 46, 39, 50, 36. So maybe a Campaign I'll throw in there too. If you're not playing Booker, if you're not playing a DeAndre Ayton, 6.9K left at point guard, he's going to be a contrarian option. He has a ceiling. So I like one of these Suns guys. I think they go overlooked. As far as Toronto, probably not going to play any of them.
Guys, we hit Mangone's number of 230. Let's see if we get to 250. Get the good mojo going for yourself. Get the good mojo going for the boys. And I'm pretty sure Mangone's going to hang out at the top of the premium show for everybody that's a subscriber. It's Rubio talking a lot of shit about Mangone. Mangone's not happy. He feels like he's been disrespected, probably by you and me too, Title. And like I said, you're always on the winner, but now we've got somebody that's going to try and win out of spite. And that scares me a little bit if I'm Rubio.
Well, I mean, I put my money down, so at least Mangone can respect that. Holden, you have to
respect Title and Hoops so much because I've heard so many people in the Discord chat talk trash. I see all the comments, and then I say slide in, you're a member, let's do $10, let's do lunch. They don't even slide in, Holden. It's very hurtful. So I keep trying to bait him in.
I will make a bet. I will make a bet during the premium show, and it's going to come off of the pregame interviews. This is going to be a narrative bet, okay? A narrative bet is coming, whether it be $10, lunch, $17, $18, something's going down, Mangone. something's going down. Why don't you wrap up with this one title? We're still waiting on LeBron. Wizards, Lakers, late night hammer. Can I interest you in anything here?
Yeah, I mean, so we're going to assume LeBron plays, but there is a little risk. I mean, there is risk. If you're listed as questionable, this game's on an island, and we saw him just sit out 2 nights ago. Yeah, I mean, like, if he's out, you're Kyle Kuzma at 8.8K. Like, I think he is the pivot. You're going to be in trouble if he doesn't play. Let's just say that. If he's the only one guy left and he doesn't play, you're in trouble. I do think that is a pretty small risk, though. Again, there is some risk. Do with it as you want, but he's 11.8 on DraftKings, a little better price. FanDuel, he's 10.9K. I think he's a strong play. I mean, he gets these Wizards, 229 total, only a 4-point spread. LeBron's got to do everything for this team. We've seen the ceiling. I think he makes for a good pivot from Luka. And yeah, he's power forward eligibility, he's center eligible. I think if you play him at power forward, it makes some sense. FanDuel, good play too. Outside of him, KCP, 4.8K on DraftKings. People are probably like wondering why. Man, if you look at the last 5 games, he's played 34, 33, 30, 31, 33, 42 minutes, 33, 32, 44, 23, 20, 36 DK points. He's shown a little bit of a ceiling for 4.8. Going to be what, 10% owned maybe? I think it makes some sense. If you want to run a little LeBron KCP stack in a game that's low owned, you'll be the only one climbing up the leaderboards when everyone else is staying put. I think it makes a little sense for this late game. So outside of LeBron and KCP, don't really have interest, but I don't mind a little mini stack. But you have to know the risk. I think it's very small, but there is some risk, though. He is questionable that he doesn't play.
All right, Mangone, who while Title was giving out great information, I was reading Mangone's responses. Mangone says that these games will be televised or at least live streamed. Should be amazing. I'll definitely be checking. Well, I don't want to say definitely, but I might be checking them out. Mangone, LeBron, the Lakers. Do you want anything from this game? What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like dying to play guys from this game, but like have a plan if you are going to. Like, I might play LeBron, but like just have a plan. Like if you're going to play LeBron at like the power forward or center spot, like have a guy to pivot to. You won't have a center really, so put him at power forward if you can. Make sure that Kyle Kuzma is an option that you can go to, or maybe go to utility and put him in there and make sure then, hey, if a LeBron James is out, it is a Russell Westbrook revenge game. So it's with his former team, and like Russell Westbrook easily could pop off. He's a guy that I have not been playing. Well, I played him in these spots when he's like without LeBron. I have played him and it hasn't worked out completely, but it hasn't killed me completely. So I can go with the Westbrook thing. It wouldn't be like the worst thing. And it's like, it's your backup plan, right? It's like, okay, yes, you have to leave all that money on the table. You're definitely not happy, but if you get LeBron and he's going to be in with Westbrook and you got your 60 fantasy points, let's say that LeBron ends up being out. Can Westbrook get to 60? Yes, he can. It's been a while since, but I think he could do it. I think it could be in the range of outcomes. So yeah, I think that definitely make sure you have the pivots. That's how I would plan for this game. I'm not going to like load up on this one though.
Yeah, and people are talking about it. This is a revenge for a lot of people. Kuzma, people are saying KCP's in there. So, and someone's like, you made a good point, man. Going, if you can play LeBron at utility, do so, because if he somehow is out, you pivot right to Russell Westbrook. He's in a revenge game. Like, it would be a really strong play too. You still wouldn't love leaving the salary, but he would be your preferred option. If you only can play LeBron at power forward, Kuzma would be your pivot if he's somehow ruled out.
All right, guys, we did it. We got through it. Make sure you check out the premium show. It's Big Man AP with Rubio. I'll be hosting that one. Mangone said he'll stop by for a minute. Players 33, Players 33, 33% off. What, the first payment, Mangone? And there's still a lot going on. I mean, there's still time to get in, and the NBA is really starting to cook here. So, and
yeah, we're also real quick. We're gonna have a March Madness bracket. We'll be doing some giveaways for that too.
Oh.
So.
That's what I was about to say. Like, we had all these plans if baseball wasn't going to play, right? We were going to do it. Well, we're still going to do all that stuff behind the scenes. We still got the NASCAR stuff, which was totally awesome. I actually enjoyed doing those shows. We got NASCAR going on still. And yeah, we got brackets, we got games, and baseball is going to be back here within the next month or maybe 3 weeks, right? So get ready. If you guys are baseball fans, we got a great crew for baseball. JSU title hop in there. DC's good at that. JT Hayes, K. Fallett, Gary, so many baseball guys at RPS too. Helmet, wonderful job behind the scenes. Let's get to the plays of the day. Are you still sweet Travis play of the day, Mangone?
Of course, and we're going to give away a guy that I talked about a lot before. I don't think his ownership is going to be that high because I talked about it. Valanciunas is going to be very high owned. You can play both these guys together. You can fade a Valanciunas if you'd like to, but I'm going to go with Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert at 7.4K. Price just feels too cheap to me. I want to get exposure to him. I think he's a really good option. So let's go with Rudy Gobert because, again, I think Valanciunas is going to soak up enough ownership where Rudy's not going to be like a 50% play. He might be in like the 20% range, but it's a massive slate. That's okay. I think Rudy Gobert gets the job done here against the Spurs big time.
All right. AP not happy. We went over. AP, relax, dude. Got plenty of time. Just call K Falik. He settles down after a while. Title, what is your play of the day called these days?
SO play of the day.
We're still SO all these years later. Okay, what's the
Holden is not like the SO play. You just heard it in his voice. He's like, gosh, we're still doing this thing. That's exactly what I just heard from you, Holden.
all these years later, making me feel old, man. Yeah,
yeah, real old. It's been like a year, maybe a year and a half.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You're making it sound. It's
all right. Let's go.
All right. Anyway, man, it's a tough slate, but I'm gonna go with the one that a couple people did like in chat when I talked about it. Think it makes sense as a little pivot in this tier, but KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 4.8K, late night hammer, a little revenge narrative. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see him jack up double-digit threes. Minutes are there. We've seen him be a steady producer. He has some upside at 4.8K, and no one's going to play him. They're going to go the Pelicans in that range. So give me a little KCP as the SO play of the day. You can plug him in at that shooting guard position that Mangone doesn't like.
All right, AP. We're coming, buddy. We're coming. We'll be on in just a couple of minutes. Mangone's going to stick around. Rubio's going to be there. We'll take you up to lock. Thanks for hanging out. Hit the like button on the way out. Players33 is the code. And helmet, you know what to do. Get us out.
Good luck.